Visit www.databasehomeworkhelp.com/www.databasehomeworkhelp.com. Email info@databasehomeworkhelp.com, info@databasehomeworkhelp.com, or call us at +1 678 648 4277 databasehomeworkhelp.com. Part 1. Software Process. 1. Read the case study below and identify 5 errors in the execution of the project. Circle a phrase from the case to support each error you identify. Write a number next to each circled phrase, and describe each error with a phrase or two next to the corresponding numbers on the following page. If the error is an activity that the team did not do and thus is not mentioned, also include it. 1. Parking is about to launch the first version of a parking garage/lot automation project. Reserve your spot. The parking garage currently operates without any computerized system. The management has concerns about inefficiencies of suboptimal usage of parking space. In addition, congestion inside the garage is often caused by drivers searching for vacant spots. Currently, management monitors the garage occupancy by having employees walk around the decks to inspect the occupancy of individual spots. The purpose of Reserve Your Spot is to track and manage occupancy of a parking garage and allow customers to find and reserve available parking places. Paul was assigned as the project manager and hired 2 software developers with more than 5 years of experience. All team members are in the top 25% in talent and experience and have good tools and familiarity with the area. There is some turnover. Paul's team had been working on the system for a little more than 6 months, and now the deadline was just 1 month away. He called the team meeting to order. According to the schedule, everybody should be checking in the final versions of their code this week. How's that going? Pretty good, but not good enough, Ryan responded honestly. I've run into a few problems, and I'm working as hard as I can, but I don't see any way I can finish in less than 6 weeks. That goes double for me, Lorena said. I'm making good progress, but this never should have been scheduled as a 7-month project. It's more like a 10-month project. I've got 6 or 7 weeks of work left. 1. Databasehomeworkhelp.com. All right. I'm to think about how to break this news to my boss. Give me the rest of the day to come up with a recovery plan, and I'll let you know the plan too. The next day, Paul laid out his plan. He had talked his boss, Michael, into slipping their schedule 4 weeks. He was going to borrow Allison, an analyst from another group, to help Lorena and Ryan. And he had a line on a top-notch contractor named Rushmi to pick up the rest of the slack. Furthermore, Paul divided the project for the team to hardly notice the 2 new developers and decided to train the new members himself. 3. They might be able to help a little, Ryan chimed in. But I honestly need 6 weeks, and I don't see any way to divide up my work so that I can give any of it to anyone else. Are you signed up for this project or not? Carl said. The project isn't in that much trouble. Just do your best, and let's see what happens. Okay? Lorena and Ryan didn't see any point in arguing about it, so 1. Overly optimistic schedule. 2. Insufficient management control. 3. Adding people to a late project. They said okay, and went back to work. 4. They worked almost non-stop for the next 4 weeks. 5. But at the end of that time, they were barely any closer to the finish line. How are we doing? Paul asked. About the same, Lorena reported. I've still got at least 4 or 5 weeks worth of work left. Same here, Ryan reported. What have you guys been doing? Paul fumed. Lorena, you said you had 6 or 7 weeks of work left, and that was 4 weeks ago. How can you still have 4 or 5 weeks left? Databasehomeworkhelp.com. Some things took longer than expected, plus, no offense to Allison and Rushmi, but getting them up to speed is taking a lot of time. They didn't understand how we handle our files, she said. Lorena's patience was wearing thin. She was tired and had poured everything she had into this project. Listen, we've been going all out for more than 2 months. We're doing our best. We've just had a couple of minor setbacks. Look, I said I'll be done in 4 or 5 weeks, and that's when I'll be done. The meeting broke up, and Paul optimistically told Michael that the team would be done in 4 weeks 6. 4 weeks later, the team reported making good progress, but still thought it would be another 3 weeks or so until they were done. A few weeks after that, Lorena and Ryan discovered some design flaws that they couldn't code around, and they had to redesign major chunk of the System 7. Each bug fix seemed to give rise to 2 more defect reports, and the group's estimated completion times started getting farther away instead of closer. Paul admitted that he didn't really know when the project would be finished. 8. 2 months later, after 3 more 3-week schedule slips, Michael cancelled the project. For employee morale 5 heroics, no software process 6 not being truthful about project status, giving point estimate instead of range 7 inadequate design and integration, from lack of process 8 insufficient risk management. Databasehomeworkhelp.com. Write a phrase or 2 describing each error, making sure that the numbers below correspond to the numbers that you wrote next to the circled text above. Error 1, Error 2, Error 3, Error 4, Error 5. Any 5 of the following errors are sufficient. 1. Overly optimistic schedule 2. Insufficient management control 3. Adding people to a late project, mythical man-month syndrome 4. Employee morale 5. Heroics, no software process 6. Not being truthful about project status, giving point estimate instead of range 7. Inadequate design and integration, from lack of process 8. Insufficient risk management. Databasehomeworkhelp.com. Function points low medium high input 5 times 3 is equal to 15 5 times 4 is equal to 25 times 6 is equal to 30 output 2 times 4 is equal to 8 2 times 5 is equal to 10 2 times 7 is equal to 14 inquiries 3 times 3 is equal to 9 3 times 4 is equal to 12 3 times 6 is equal to 18 internal files. 4 times 7 is equal to 28 4 times 10 is equal to 44 times 15 is equal to 60 unadjusted function points 264 influence multiplier 1.15 adjusted function points 304. 2. Answer the following questions based on the system mentioned above. After firing Paul, 1. Parking has hired you, an expert in rapid development practices, as their new project manager, and has asked you to reevaluate reserve your spot. Assume the system has been completely redesigned, and that the team has agreed on the mission of the project. Also assume that there are 15 web pages, 6 reports and documents, 12 database tables, 9 inquiries, and no external files, and the complexity of each is 1/3 low, 1/3 medium, and 1/3 high with an influence multiplier of 1.1. A. How many function points would it contain? B. Estimate the lines of code for the system. Assume you will use Perl for the web application and Oracle for databases, each using 35 lines of code per function point. 3 points. 304 times 35 is equal to 10,640 lines of code. C. What type of product is Reserve Your Spot, system, business, or shrink wrap? Explain. Databasehomeworkhelp.com. Top 25% of talent pool. They have worked with the programming language and environment efficient use of programming tools, use of modern programming practices, use of rapid development practices, consensus of the mission of the project. E. Compute the size of the team based on appropriate tables from rapid development. F. Schedule equals 8 months, effort equals 24 man-months. Team size equals 3 persons. F. Assign a confidence range to your estimate, and explain why in 1 sentence or phrase. System software includes operating systems, per McConnell, embedded software, and real-time systems share characteristics with system software. D. What type of schedule will you use? Fastest possible, efficient, or nominal? Explain.